Hi everyone! I've had a great question from one of our subscribers on fractional distillation that I wanted to share with you today. The student asked, what information should I include when explaining fractional distillation? This is a very important question and it has come up twice in recent years. The last time it came up was 2023, the deferred paper. It was question 6A part 1, and before that it was 2021, question 6B part 2. In both of these years, students were asked to draw a label diagram and explain how fractional distillation works. And if they could do that, well then they got 9 marks. Now normally for 9 marks in the exam, we need 3 pieces of information. But I want you to give 4 so that your examiner can give you the maximum number of marks. And just in case we forget any of the keywords, I want something in there as a buffer or as like a bankable bullet point that's going to bump up your marks. So there's 4 key things that your answer should have. The first one, on your label diagram, if you show a number of outlets and a number of trays at different levels, that's your first 3 marks. Next, if you show crude oil going into the column at the bottom and being heated by a furnace, that's your next 3 marks. Then we should mention somewhere on the paper that fractional distillation works by the separation of different fractions based on their boiling points. You should also indicate somewhere that the lower boiling point fractions come off at the top and the higher boiling point fractions come off at the bottom. And lastly, you should also have a mention of the temperature gradient somewhere on your diagram. And with the temperature gradient, your column is colder at the top and warmer at the bottom. Right, so let's look at what this looks like on a diagram. So on the diagram, I've shown the trays and the outlets at different levels, and I label them for my first 3 marks. Then I show the crude oil going in at the bottom and being heated by a furnace, and I've mentioned the separation of the different fractions based on their different boiling points. And lastly, we have a mention of the temperature gradient on the right-hand side, where it's colder at the top and warmer at the bottom. Now, if you forget that which way around the temperature gradient is, so hotter at the bottom, colder at the top, you just look at the positioning of the furnace. The furnace is as the crude oil is coming into the fractioning column, so that's where the column is going to be the hottest. And then as you go up, it gets colder. You should also mention the 2 bullet points at the bottom somewhere on your piece of paper, where the shorter chain hydrocarbons emerge from the column at the top. These are the ones with the lower boiling points. And the longer chain hydrocarbons emerge at the bottom, and these are the ones with the higher boiling points. Right, thanks very much for the